right, let's roll here if we can. Let's start with and this is an intriguing matchup, right? Mississippi State taking on Illinois. This is going to be January 2nd, Monday. Total is 46. Mississippi State, obviously, 1.5, I think, right now. 1.5. Taking on Illinois. Obviously, tragedy hit this program with the passing of Mike Leach a few weeks back there. Just rough across the board. I know, Coach Leach, they say, he would have wanted nothing but the ability to win this football game. So you got to factor it in, Drew. You got to believe these kids are going to be laying it all out there for their coach. Illinois, tough program. It's a fascinating handicap here, Drew. Are you leaning one way or the other with these two teams?
It really is, Joe, a fascinating handicap, and I am. I mean, we get SEC, Big Ten, and what used to be known as the Outback Bowl here in Tampa, Florida. Mississippi State, pretty surprising here. 13 straight bowl appearances. Got to give them credit there coming out of the SEC West Division. And look, Illinois, the number 1 and number 2 scoring and total defense in the country. They've been playing great football on the defensive side there, Joe. They're 8-4 straight up and against the spread. They got the numbers, doing good things there in Champaign, Illinois. All of that being said, am I really going to bet against Mississippi State after what happened with Mike Leach? You teed it up there. The Pirate himself in a stadium with pirate ships and all. No, I'm not. I think these kids come to play. I think they play for them. I'm not betting against Mississippi State. In fact, I'm betting on them. Give me Mississippi State -1, Joe.
There you go, Mississippi State -1. We do have, Brett Bielema on the other sideline here. He's done an amazing job with this Illinois program. I mean, I don't want to lose sight. I mean, they were 8-4 this year here, Brian Power, but they were, call me crazy. I think they outperformed what a lot of us thought they might be doing this year, and they did it by being able to run the ball and play some defense. So something's got to give here. What do you think? He just signed a new contract, I believe, so Bielema is going to be around for a little while. Are you buying Illinois? Do they have enough to be able to get it done here?
Well, I think they're going to be motivated, Joe. Bielema was quite ornery after that loss to Michigan, if you remember. So this is not going to be a no-show for the Illini. Back to what Drew was talking about. Yes, it's a very difficult game to handicap with the passing of Mike Leach. We don't know how Mississippi State's going to respond. I don't want to bet against them, that's for sure. I'm with Drew in that regard. But at the same time, these air raid teams tend to struggle off long breaks. And as Drew mentioned, Illinois, number 1 in the country in scoring defense. They allow just 12.3 points per game. When they are on extra rest, the Illini have covered 7 straight times. Extra rest, Mississippi State, 2-10 against the number last 12. But the Illini, they failed to cover 9 straight times when you've had a game with a spread of a field goal or less. I will be shocked if this game ends up on my card come Monday, but I think the only way to look would be the first half under, which is 22.5 at most shops. I saw a rogue 23.5 sitting out there. Obviously, it's more than 3 touchdowns. We talk about the air raid teams struggling after long layoffs sometimes. And it's notable on the defensive side with Mississippi State. While they are allowing 24.2 points per game, they only allow 8.6 points per game in first halves.
Wow.
So if I were to play this game, I am looking at the first half under. I think it's a sleepy start to the new year for these two teams here.
Love that angle here. What do you think, Tony, Finn, Brett Bielema here taking on this Mississippi State team? Are you a believer in Illinois, or do you think the SEC has the advantage?
Well, I believe that this Illinois team can defend. I think they're defense heavy. I know for a fact I don't think they can keep up offensively. So, I think what you have to look at here is offense versus defense, the matchups itself inside the game inside the game. But all of this comes down to what's already been discussed here, and it's difficult. It's difficult for me. I don't know about you guys. It's difficult for me to know exactly what these kids think. I did not have my arms really wrapped around. Listen, I played Mike Leach quite a bit this year. I was successful with Leach on the bottom line, but Mike Leach doesn't. He's no matter what anybody says, he's not that player coach kind of guy. He's a no nonsense guy. You know, I mean, he had some fun with a few of his players, the mustache, that bit, you know. But this is the same guy that got fired from Texas Tech for locking a kid in the water closet or whatever it was, you know, because he didn't like what he said. That was a few years ago, and even Texas Tech saluted him last night in that romping, in that massive butt kicking I took with Mississippi. So, listen, I like Mississippi State. That Mississippi win when they beat Mississippi, Mississippi was ranked 20th at the time. Doesn't quite. Last night kind of it puts a little bit of a fade on what I think of Mississippi State, but I still like them. I like them in this game, and I certainly, like the rest of you, would not be pushing in against them. No way, no how.
Yeah, a couple of guys sitting out. 10 transfers already for Mississippi State, but it looks like Rogers will be under center. Absolutely have the quarterback edge. Don't sleep on Mississippi State's defense either, known as the air raid, but they played some defense here this year, so it'll be interesting. It's why it's pretty much at a pick-em price. That's going to be January 2nd, guys. Illinois taking on Mississippi State.